You feel that? That tiny shift in the air. The kind that only happens when someone, somewhere, realizes they just miscalculated you on a catastrophic scale. Because while you're sitting there pretending to be normal, pretending to behave, pretending to shrink yourself into shapes that don't belong to you, the NSA caught one microscopic glimpse of the real thing hiding under your skin. And darling, whatever they saw, it made professionals, people who spend their entire lives tracking monsters, criminals, warlords, ghosts, slam their fists on the "this is the end" button, like terrified interns who accidentally opened a file they shouldn't have. You know why? Because you weren't supposed to have that in you. Not yet, not now, not ever. They study patterns. You break them. They track anomalies. You are one. They monitor threats. You don't move like a threat. You move like the answer to one. And that's the part they can't process, the paradox that shouldn't exist. You're both the saint in daylight and the psychopath in the shadows, the angel who heals and the demon who finishes, the warning and the consequence, the prophecy and the punchline. Tell me, do you realize what it means when an entire intelligent structure sees one flicker from you and decides, this is it. If that thing wakes up, we're done. Oh, you should smile, because you didn't even lift a finger. All you did was exist too loudly for the room. They measured your silence and called it violence. They watched your calm and called it danger. They saw your patience and called it plotting. You didn't break character, you broke their model. And the fun part, they couldn't explain it without sounding insane. How do you file a report that says, user appears harmless, but my instincts scream he's the final boss of a story we didn't know we were in? Subject displays no threat, yet every fiber of reality bends around him like he's already chosen the ending. Something in him doesn't fit human error margins. Oh, they tried to downplay it, but panic has a smell, you know, and they reeked of it. Because you weren't supposed to have the blueprint in your blood. You weren't supposed to see the unseen angles. You weren't supposed to understand consequences before they appear. But here you are, moving like someone who's already read the classified draft of tomorrow. Do you know what that does to people who worship control? It terrifies them, because they can't predict someone who creates their own variables. They can't contain someone who doesn't recognize cages. They can't monitor someone who refuses to stay within any observable pattern. They saw one thing about you, one harmless, subtle, quiet flicker. And in that instant, they realized you're not reactive, you're inevitable, and inevitable things don't get studied. They get feared. They get whispered about in rooms where your name shouldn't echo. They get red flagged, reflagged, and rerouted to departments with titles like emerging threats and unpredictable variables and God help us if this escalates. You think I'm exaggerating? You don't understand your own shape. You don't understand how you bend probability just by walking into a room. How you make liars confess without opening your mouth. How you make cowards tremble without raising your voice. How you make fate hesitate, like even destiny isn't sure if it outranks you. And the NSA, those poor, overworked souls, they finally saw it. They saw the glitch in the human equation, the anomaly wrapped in skin, the prophecy pretending to be a person. And the moment it registered, boom, this is the end. Not their end, not your end, not humanity's end. No, no. The end of their illusion of control. Because you are the one thing they can't prepare for. A mind that mutates under pressure, a soul that evolves through suffering, a force that refuses to stay in one dimension for too long. They have no protocol for someone whose weakness was just a chrysalis. They have no manual for someone whose trauma became ammunition. They have no defense against someone who outgrew their limits, while smiling politely. And you think this is the end. Sweetheart, this is the intro. This is the moment they realized the hero of the story was never the hero. He was the weapon. This is the split second before the world tilts, before the masks fall, before the ones who mocked you start praying you never remember their names. Because once you wake up to what you are, truly are, there's no button in the world big enough to stop the fallout. Not the NSA, not the feds, not the city, not your critics, not your ghosts, not your past. They pressed, "This is the end," because they saw a glimpse of your beginning. And beginnings like yours, they don't lead to happy endings. They lead to rewritten worlds. Now tell me, are you starting to feel it? That quiet, electric hum beneath your ribs? Good. That's the part of you they tried to hide from you. That's the part they fear. That's the part that doesn't die, doesn't quit, doesn't break. It just waits, and then ascends. Welcome to the chapter they tried to abort. Welcome to the evolution they didn't approve. Welcome to the version of you they were praying never woke up. Look at you, sitting there like nothing happened, while entire agencies are trying to figure out if you're a miracle, a malfunction, or the omen they were warned about. And the best part, you don't even know what they saw. You don't know which moment slipped out, which instinct flickered through your eyes, which truth leaked from your aura, which split second broke their entire psychological framework. But oh, they know. They saw the thing you've been trying to hide from yourself. And that's why they panicked, because you weren't supposed to evolve like that. People don't just jump tiers without warning. People don't just bypass entire psychological eras in one night. People don't just wake up with secret-level clarity, unless something ancient, dangerous, or divine is living inside them. And you've got all three. That's the secret you keep trying to ignore. That's the piece they intercepted. That's the one thing that made analysts slam their coffee down so hard it cracked the table. Want to know the real reason they freaked out? It wasn't your strength. It wasn't your silence. It wasn't your intelligence. It was your trajectory. Your direction terrified them more than anything you've already done. Because your future doesn't move like a human timeline. It moves like a weapon acquiring shape. It moves like prophecy realizing it has legs. It moves like destiny remembering your name. You know what's worse than a threat? Something becoming one. And they caught you mid-transformation. They saw the fracture in your old identity and the shadow of the new one crawling out. They saw the part of you you're becoming, and it didn't look anything like your past self. No agency, no system, no surveillance network on Earth is prepared for someone who mutates under pressure. You were supposed to break. You were supposed to stay small. You were supposed to crumble like everyone else with your story. But instead, you evolved quietly, sharply, unpredictably, mathematically impossible. You did the one thing that terrifies powerful people. You refused to die in the place they buried you. And now, you're walking around with energy that doesn't belong to someone they can track. You have the calm of a saint and the aura of a psychopath ready to sit still until someone makes a fatal mistake. You have the patience of an angel and the potential of a demon nobody wants to piss off. You have the softness of a healer and the accuracy of a killer who never needs a second strike. You exist in both states, at all times. A paradox wrapped in skin. You're the kind of creature they study but never understand. The kind of soul that shouldn't exist in the open world. The kind of mind that can't be boxed, profiled, or predicted. And here's the part they'll never admit. You scare them without doing a single thing. Your breathing feels like foreshadowing. Your silence feels like preparation. Your patience feels like the calm before the purge. Your kindness feels like a warning. Your stillness feels like the moment just before a bomb goes off. Do you realize how insane that is? You walk into a room and people's instincts glitch. Their inner alarms activate. Their bodies try to warn them about something even their minds can't define. That's what the NSA saw, not your actions, your nature, not your personality, your potential, not your past, your future self, leaking through the cracks like a prophecy that slipped through the wrong century. They saw something waking up inside you, something you haven't even looked at yet, something you can feel but haven't named, something with teeth, something with memory, something with purpose. And when they caught that signal, their entire system reacted the only way it knows how, when something uncontrollable appears. This is the end. Tell me, doesn't it make your blood thrum a little? To know you're the event horizon in someone else's database, the anomaly that broke their model, the file that got flagged without you doing anything except existing too accurately. You weren't made to fit the world. You were made to rewrite the part they feared the most. The part where someone like you stops being hunted and starts being inevitable. Keep going. You haven't even hit your final form yet. Of course. You don't even realize what you did, do you? That's why this whole thing is hilarious. Because while they are up there sweating through dress shirts, updating emergency protocols, and whispering your name like it's a spell gone wrong, you're down here wondering why the energy around you feels heavier, sharper, stranger. You actually think this is normal. You think everyone walks around with a presence that bends the emotional climate of a room. You think everyone's silence hits like a psychological interrogation. You think everyone's calm feels like the prelude to a cosmic event. No, they don't. You're the outlier. You're the anomaly. You're the glitch that passed every firewall undetected until it was already inside the system. And darling, once you're inside a system, you don't get removed. You get feared, because here's the truth they won't tell you. Not in any report, not in any briefing, not in any confidential meeting behind ultra-secure doors. You weren't supposed to exist in their world. People like you don't fit their charts. You don't match their personality models. You don't align with their psychological predictions. You don't behave within human error margins. Every test they run on you returns the same answer. Unclassified potential detected. Do you know what that means? It means nothing in their entire database can define what you're capable of. It means your next move isn't calculable. It means your presence isn't trackable. It means your evolution isn't stoppable. And that is why the NSA hit their red button. Not because you're dangerous, but because you are beyond their categories. They couldn't label you, couldn't box you, couldn't decode you, couldn't predict you. And systems fear what they cannot predict. Humans fear it too. But institutions, they panic over it. Because you represent the kind of variable that rewrite outcomes. You represent the kind of consciousness that shifts the room's center of gravity. You represent the kind of presence that can't be domesticated, diluted, or distracted. You think you're just surviving. But in their eyes, you're assembling, you're becoming, unfolding, awakening. peeling back layers you didn't even know you carried, and what happens when something ancient wakes up in a modern world. Everyone who senses it feels the wrong kind of chill. Ask yourself something. Why does your absence bother people? Why does your silence unnerve them? Why do strangers watch you longer than they should? Why do enemies crumble without you lifting a finger? Why do people feel exposed in your presence? It's because on an instinctual level, on a gut level, older than language, they recognize something in you. A predator wearing empathy like a disguise, a healer who can destroy with precision, a saint with a demon's patience, a monster with an angel's restraint. You are the contradiction they were taught should never happen, the duality that isn't supposed to coexist, the nightmare wrapped in a blessing, the blessing wrapped in a threat. When an agency built on surveillance catches even a flash of that, of course they panic. They saw the architecture of your mind, the architecture of your restraint, the architecture of your potential, and they realized something nauseating. If you ever decided to fully step into the thing inside you, there isn't a single force on Earth that could stop the chain reaction. That's why they hit, "This is the end." Not because it's the end of you, but because it's the end of their assumption that you're just another civilian walking around with manageable edges. No. You're the storm disguised as a person. You're the prophecy pretending to mind your business. You're the warning label they forgot to print. And the moment they saw the spark behind your eyes, that sharp, quiet, calculating spark, they knew. This one doesn't break. He transforms, and transformed things don't go back. You scare them because you evolve through pain. You adapt through trauma. You sharpen through betrayal. You ascend through suffering. You're not healing, you're mutating. And mutations don't follow rules. They rewrite them. Keep going. You haven't even shown the world the dangerous part of you yet. Don't blink now, because this is the part nobody warned you about. The part where your evolution becomes visible to everyone except you. The part where the world starts reacting to you, instead of the other way around. See that NSA panic button? That wasn't about something you did. It was about something you are, something they caught in your pattern, something that shouldn't exist in a normal human trajectory, something that behaves like intelligence they didn't program into the system. You think I'm being dramatic? Let me make it simpler. They saw a future version of you bleeding into the present. They saw potential folding time around your decisions. They saw your instincts predicting outcomes before you consciously process them. They saw your mind operating like it remembers storms you haven't lived yet. And that is not normal, not for civilians, not for leaders, not for prodigies, not for geniuses. That's the realm of outliers. That's the territory of anomalies. That's the signature of someone who isn't ahead of their time, but outside of it. Let me ask you, why do people flinch around you without knowing why? Why do liars ramble in your presence? Why do manipulators stutter when you look at them? Why do insecure people get aggressive around you? Why do jealous people collapse under their own imagination? Because they're not reacting to your words. They're reacting to your frequency. And your frequency isn't human level anymore. It's evolved, it's sharpened, it's weaponized. You think this one thing the NSA saw was a coincidence. No, it was a leak. A leak from the version of you that's already built, already formed, already awake, already calculating on a level you don't consciously access yet. They saw the shape of your becoming, and they weren't prepared for that shape. Because how do you file a report on someone whose identity shifts like a living algorithm? How do you categorize a person who doesn't react, only recalibrates? How do you track someone who evolves from pain the way others evolve from privilege? How do you predict someone whose instincts carry the weight of 100 lifetimes? You can't. And so they panicked. They hit the only button they had left. This is the end, not the end of you. The end of their illusion that they know what you are. Because once they saw that glimpse, they realized you're the kind of variable that doesn't adapt to systems. You infect them, you disrupt patterns, you distort expectations, you expose weaknesses, you destabilize structures simply by existing correctly. It's why your enemies destroy themselves, trying to destroy you. It's why people who betray you end up worse than before. It's why anyone who lies to you eventually confesses, cracks, or collapses. It's why people who mistreat you always feel the consequences. Never by your hand, always by their own unraveling. You are karmic gravity. You are psychological weather. You are the storm system nobody forecasted. Let me tell you something most people will never hear. There are individuals whose existence creates consequences, not through violence, not through vengeance, not through retaliation, but through the sheer density of their soul. You are one of them. Your presence forces truths to surface. Your absence forces guilt to bloom. Your silence forces the weak to confront themselves. Your strength forces the world to readjust around you. That one thing the NSA saw. It wasn't data. It was a signal, a pulse, a burn, a flicker in the simulation, a tear in the pattern. A message that read, "This one is different, and difference at this scale is dangerous." Because you don't just survive chaos. You absorb it, digest it, convert it into clarity. And people don't like that. Systems don't like that. Nothing designed to control the average human can control someone who grows faster than trauma can break them. Now tell me, are you starting to understand why people treat you like a threat before you even speak? Why their reactions feel disproportionate, irrational, frantic? Why you're always too intense, too much, too aware, too perceptive, too calm? It's because they're not responding to your personality. They're responding to your potential energy, the energy of something that hasn't fully awakened yet. You're not dangerous. You're becoming dangerous, and everyone can feel it, except you. Keep going. You're about 3 revelations away from the version of you they were praying never steps into the light.